So people have asked me the story over and over about how I came to own a black bear, and so I want to tell everyone my story once and for all. So growing up, my name I was given was Jonah, but it was actually Jonah with a J, and that's the Cherokee word for bear. And the Cherokee elder that gave me my animal name told my father when I was a little tiny infant baby that I had lived as a bear, and that I was a reincarnated bear, which is good medicine for Cherokees. So I've always had this affection for bears growing up, and I've always been attracted to bears. My father as well, his Indian name was Five Bears. So anyway, I have quite a circle of friends, a very different, unique circle of people that I hold dear to me. And one of these people has a little traveling petting zoo. And I asked him a few years ago that in his travels around this world, if he ever came across a baby black bear cub that was a female, a little tiny one, I would be very interested in raising this. And a lot of people say things like this and they don't really mean it. And I'm kind of different than most people. And when I say something, I actually mean it. And a bear lives typically, 20 to 35 years. So to me, a commitment of having something like this is a very, very big one, because I'm not going to give it up after 2 years when it gets too big and it's not fun to deal with, and in your car and stuff like this. So my friend said, "Yeah, I'll keep my eye open." And several years later, this guy was at a gas station in Tennessee, and he was getting gas in his truck, and he'd been at a petting zoo somewhere. And an old rusted out Chevy pickup truck pulled up next to him at the gas pump, and he heard bears crying, my friend does. And he looks in the back of this truck, and there's two little bears. They were both males, and they were in a little wire cage about this big. And then there was another bear by itself, and she was in a smaller cage, and she was a female, and they were all crying. And apparently the people who owned the truck were some poachers, and they had shot the mother, and they'd grabbed up the three baby cubs. So my friend looked at the female, and he texted me on the phone saying that he's found some bears, and I didn't respond because I seldomly get cell service. And so he went up to these rednecks that were in this rusted out truck and said, "Hey, would you be interested in selling any of those bears?" And they said, "Yeah." And so he said, "Would you sell me this little female there by herself?" And they said, "Yeah, we want $400 or $500 for it." And so my friend, he knows he only has $100 in his pocket. And so he says, "Well, what are you going to do with them?" And I guess behind their truck, they were pulling a trailer. They had their hunting dogs, and they were going to go train their dogs with these bears. In other words, they're going to turn these little bears loose in a field somewhere, and the dogs are going to run them down and tear them to shreds. So anyway, I guess they didn't really want to sell it because they said this much money, and they were just getting ready to feed it to their dogs, basically. So my friend calls me again. I don't answer my phone because who knows where I was. And he then takes a picture of the back of their truck and then goes up to them and says to these guys, "I tell you what, how about I don't share this picture with the game warden, and I'll give you $100 for the female." And so, which is all the money he had in his pocket. And so they said, "That sounds like a good deal to us," and they handed him the little cage with Nibbles in it, and he put her in the back of his truck. And she still has scars on her face today from where she was rubbing her face on the little chicken cage that she was in, and I didn't see it. And he then brought her here like 2 days later to my office, this building, and he opened up the front door and he turned the baby bear loose and shut the door. And then I'm back here working in my office, and I heard someone screaming over here, and so I don't know what's going on, so I come running out of my office, and this baby bear comes running around the corner and runs right up my leg. And when bears are little, their claws are razor sharp, and she grabbed hold of my leg, and it was quite a sensation for the first time, having a bear clinging to my leg. And of course, all the employees, all the women are running around the corner looking because they're thinking I'm getting attacked by something. But anyway, that's the story of Nibbles the bear. Right now, she's about 6 years old, and she weighs the better part of 500 pounds. And she came from something that was the size of a football when I first got her. And I love that bear very much. I spend as much time as I can with her. I see her every day. I handle her every day. I don't jump in the cage with her every day because she's a typical woman, and sometimes they're just not approachable. And when you do this with your girlfriend, sometimes you live, to tell about it, and with a bear, and maybe that might not be the case. So, she decides when she wants me to play with her, and when she wants to wrestle, and when she doesn't, and she lets me know, and then I make myself myself into the cage with her, and wrestle and cuddle her and kiss on her. She likes loving. She likes affection. She's a beautiful, beautiful animal. She has feelings. She gets them hurt very easily. She's kind of delicate sometimes, but she's really the only bear I know, and I really love her very much. And I hope that my videos of her and my other animals that I have educates people that animal rescue and being good to animals is one of the best gifts that we can give to ourselves, not to others. And I hope you guys enjoy my page.